Forget the myths and Hollywood legends. For centuries, the samurai stood as the undisputed elite of Japan. Warriors whose lives were defined by the katana, unyielding loyalty, and a profound code of honor. More than just soldiers, they were a distinct class that deeply shaped the very soul of a nation. From their humble beginnings, witness their meteoric rise to absolute power, transforming feudal Japan. Discover the brutal discipline of their training, the evolution of their unique fighting styles, and the meticulous craftsmanship behind their iconic weaponry. Then, step into the heart of their philosophy, Bushido, the way of the warrior. Uncover the profound principles of loyalty, courage, and honor unto death that guided their every action. Finally, trace their extraordinary journey from feudal lords to their dramatic transformation in the modern world. See how their enduring legacy continues to shape Japanese culture, martial arts, and global popular media, proving that the spirit of the samurai still burns bright today. This is the definitive story of the samurai, warriors, culture, and the soul of Japan. In the annals of history, few warrior classes captivate the imagination quite like the samurai. Their image, iconic armor, the lethal curve of the katana, the unwavering code of honor, has transcended time, becoming synonymous with Japan itself. But before they became the legendary elite, shaping a nation's soul, the samurai emerged from a complex tapestry of political upheaval and regional strife, forging their identity in the fires of feudal Japan. The story of the samurai doesn't begin with grand castles and unified rule, but with a fragmented landscape. In early Japan, central imperial power, based in the ancient capital, often struggled to assert control over distant provinces. Powerful landowning families and local aristocrats, facing threats from bandits and rival clans, began to recruit and train private armed retinues. These early warriors, known as bushi, were the nascent seeds of what would become the samurai class. Their primary purpose was straightforward: to protect their lord's estates and enforce their will, often through force. By the Heian period, these bushi began to coalesce into distinct warrior clans, gaining significant regional power. Their influence grew as they were increasingly employed by the imperial court to quell rebellions and maintain order. As they spent more time in the provinces, away from the refined elegance of the court, they developed a distinct martial culture, characterized by self-reliance, physical prowess, and a growing emphasis on military skill over aristocratic birthright. The true turning point arrived with the Genpei War. This epic conflict pitted two of the most powerful warrior clans, the Minamoto and the Taira, against each other in a struggle for national dominance. It was a brutal 5-year civil war that tore Japan apart, showcasing the devastating effectiveness of these provincial warriors. The Minamoto clan, led by the brilliant tactician Minamoto no Yoritomo, ultimately triumphed. This victory was not just a change in leadership. It was a fundamental shift in Japan's political landscape. With his triumph, Minamoto no Yoritomo established the Kamakura Shogunate in 1192, marking the beginning of Japan's feudal era and solidifying the samurai's position as the de facto rulers of the country. The emperor remained a symbolic figurehead, but real political and military power now lay with the shogun, the supreme military commander. This meant that the warrior class, for the first time, held direct political authority, fundamentally altering the social hierarchy and setting the stage for centuries of samurai rule. As their power grew, so too did the sophistication of their fighting styles and weaponry. The early samurai fought primarily on horseback, mastering the art of the bow and arrow, their primary weapon. Mounted archery was considered the ultimate martial skill, allowing them to engage and disengage quickly. As warfare evolved, so did their reliance on the sword. The katana, with its single, curved blade, became not just a weapon, but a spiritual extension of the warrior, meticulously crafted and revered. Alongside the katana, the shorter wakizashi, and various polearms like the yari and naginata completed their formidable arsenal. Their armor also evolved, becoming increasingly intricate and protective. Crafted from hundreds of small iron or leather scales, laced together with silk cords, it offered both flexibility and formidable defense. These elaborate suits, often lacquered in vibrant colors and adorned with intimidating face masks and crests, were not merely protective gear, but works of art reflecting the status and identity of the warrior. Thus, from humble origins as guardians of estates, the samurai had ascended. Forged in conflict, legitimized by the shogunate, and armed with unique skills and iconic weaponry, they were now poised to define the very essence of Japanese identity, laying the groundwork for a rich and complex martial culture that would resonate through the ages. The stage was set for the development of their legendary code, Bushido. The samurai's prowess on the battlefield was legendary, but their true essence lay not just in the strength of their swords, but in the power of their principles. As the warrior class solidified its political dominance, a profound ethical framework began to emerge, shaping their lives both in peace and in war. This was Bushido, the way of the warrior, an unwritten yet deeply ingrained code that fused martial discipline with philosophical and spiritual tenets. Bushido was a rigorous moral compass, a blend of Zen Buddhism, Shintoism, and Confucianism, adapted to the demands of a warrior's life. From Zen, the samurai learned discipline, meditation, and the acceptance of death as an inevitable part of life, fostering a profound sense of calm under pressure. Shintoism provided loyalty to their lord and homeland, emphasizing purity and reverence for nature. Confucianism, meanwhile, instilled virtues like loyalty, filial piety, righteousness, and a structured approach to social order. At its core, Bushido emphasized several key virtues. Rectitude, the most fundamental principle, demanding honesty, justice, and moral integrity. A true samurai made decisions based on what was right, not just what was easy or expedient. Courage, not just bravery in battle, but the courage to live righteously and make difficult decisions. A samurai was expected to face danger and death without fear. Benevolence, compassion, and empathy were crucial. Despite their capacity for violence, a true samurai was expected to show kindness, especially to those weaker than themselves, and to act with humanity. Respect, politeness, and courtesy were paramount, even towards enemies. Respect was a sign of inner strength and self-control. Honesty, absolute sincerity, and truthfulness. A samurai's word was his bond, and promises were sacred. Honor, perhaps the most famous virtue. Honor was everything. A samurai's reputation and dignity were paramount, often valued even above life itself. Loss of honor could lead to ritual suicide, a brutal act of self-disembowelment performed to restore honor to oneself and one's family. Loyalty, unwavering devotion to one's lord. This was the cornerstone of the feudal system, and the most sacred bond for a samurai, often leading them to sacrifice their lives without hesitation for their master. The practical application of Bushido was woven into every aspect of a samurai's life. Their training extended far beyond combat, encompassing calligraphy, poetry, tea ceremony, and meditation, all designed to cultivate a well-rounded individual capable of both fierce action and profound contemplation. The pursuit of perfection in martial arts was seen as a path to spiritual enlightenment. The relationship between a samurai and his lord was a sacred, almost familial bond. In return for protection and provision, the samurai offered absolute loyalty and service, even to the death. This strict hierarchical structure was the backbone of feudal Japan, allowing for periods of stability under powerful shoguns and dictating the intricate dynamics of clans and rivalries. The famed katana, the samurai's soul, was more than just a weapon. It was a symbol of their honor and an extension of their spirit. Each sword was meticulously crafted through a laborious spiritual process, believed to embody the spirit of its wielder. To lose or dishonor one's katana was a grave offense, reflecting a deep personal failing. Even with their strict code, the lives of samurai were not without their contradictions and complexities. The ideals of Bushido were often challenged by the harsh realities of warfare, political intrigue, and personal ambition. Yet, the pursuit of these virtues shaped their character and actions, setting them apart as a unique and formidable class. The code of Bushido provided the philosophical and moral backbone that sustained the samurai for centuries, allowing them to govern, fight, and endure. It forged a warrior elite whose dedication to honor, loyalty, and self-discipline continues to fascinate and inspire, laying the groundwork for Japan's enduring cultural identity. For centuries, the samurai stood as the undisputed masters of Japan. Under the various shogunates, most notably the Tokugawa shogunate, they maintained a rigid feudal system, enforcing peace and solidifying Japan's isolation from the outside world. This period saw the flourishing of samurai culture, with refinements in art, philosophy, and martial disciplines. Castles dotted the landscape, powerful daimyo commanded vast domains, and the intricate web of loyalty and hierarchy defined daily life. However, beneath this seemingly unshakable foundation, forces were gathering that would ultimately challenge the samurai's very existence. The long period of peace under the Tokugawa shogunate, while prosperous in many ways, gradually diminished the practical need for a warrior class. Many samurai became bureaucrats, scholars, or artists, their fighting skills less critical than their administrative ones. Meanwhile, an emerging merchant class gained economic power, but lacked the social status of the samurai, creating growing societal tensions. The decisive blow came from beyond Japan's shores. In 1853, Commodore Matthew Perry of the United States arrived with his black ships, forcibly demanding that Japan open its ports to foreign trade. This event, and the subsequent unequal treaties signed with Western powers, exposed Japan's military and technological inferiority. It shattered the illusion of isolation and ignited a fervent desire for modernization and a return to imperial power. This led to the Meiji Restoration, a revolutionary period of rapid political, social, and economic change. Young, reform-minded samurai who recognized the need for fundamental change to resist Western imperialism played a pivotal role in overthrowing the Tokugawa shogunate and restoring direct imperial rule under Emperor Meiji. Their rallying cry was "Revere the Emperor, expel the barbarians," though the expulsion soon transformed into a rapid adoption of Western technology and ideas to build a strong, modern Japan. The Meiji Restoration brought profound changes that directly impacted the samurai. In 1871, the feudal domains were abolished, and in 1876, the wearing of swords in public was banned, symbolizing the end of the samurai's special status. Their stipends were cut or converted, and they were forbidden from wearing their traditional topknots. Many struggled to adapt, facing economic hardship and the loss of their cherished identity. Some rebelled, like the ill-fated Satsuma Rebellion led by Saigo Takamori, often considered the last true samurai. This final stand against the emperor's newly conscripted, Western-style army dramatically symbolized the end of the traditional samurai era. Yet, the samurai did not simply vanish. Their legacy profoundly shaped modern Japan. Many former samurai transitioned into leadership roles in the new government, military, industry, and education. Their discipline, work ethic, and emphasis on loyalty and self-sacrifice became cornerstones of the emerging Japanese national character. The Bushido Code, though no longer a literal rule for warriors, evolved into a moral compass for the nation, influencing business ethics, martial arts, and even the conduct of soldiers in later wars. Today, the samurai continue to fascinate global audiences through films, literature, and video games. They embody a complex mix of brutal efficiency and profound honor, a testament to a warrior class that defined an era and left an indelible mark on the soul of Japan. Their story reminds us that even as societies transform, the principles and spirit of those who shaped them can endure, echoing through the centuries to inspire and captivate us still.